So you are listening to episode 2 of the Hidden Gems podcast. We are talking about one of the facets of gemdom, digging for records and samples.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
We are joined by a guest today, young Krispy.
Hello.
Young Krispy.
What's up?
Or just regular Krispy.
You should do that for the Spotify
What,
thing.
young Krispy?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I just
Little
put
Krispy?
I just put all of my shit up
Extra
on
crispy.
Spotify like 2 days ago.
That's what it is.
So all of my shit went live like yesterday on Spotify.
Congratulations.
It's dope, yeah. All platforms. But the problem is that there's, first of all, a couple people with Krispy as their name.
Okay.
And second of all,
So what did you do to remedy that?
so
You didn't yet, right?
I didn't. I emailed Spotify and I'm
okay.
waiting on the remedy. But so they uploaded all of my shit, and there's another person who put out an album from 1999 with the same name that they lumped me with. So
Same spelling?
yeah, same spelling. There's actually like 2 or 3 people, but at this point I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna rock with it. But yeah, so I emailed them because I'm not really trying to have this guy's stuff come up after every track of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel your pain, man, because that's what was like. I was worried about that for a
Yeah.
couple years now, just because there's so many other like, it's like, this wax shit is not me. Like, that's not
Yeah,
me.
for
Don't-
sure.
You know what I mean? So like, finally, like, you know, put a 3 there, and now it's 3XPO. It's still Expo. you
Yeah,
know?
because what I figured is if anything, people just think the rap album this guy put out is all produced by me, but it's from 1999, so it doesn't really add up.
How old were you in 1999?
I was 4.
Yeah.
been in the game.
Yeah.
Beats were hard. They're,
Yeah, they're actually my first beats on my Fisher Price MPC.
They should have them. Do they have them?
They still do have them. My girlfriend.
Do they?
Like a Fisher Price MPC.
Not an MPC.
They got the
but
keyboard.
It's like a keyboard joint that makes noises. I be over there making beats. all
Yo,
the
that's
time.
crazy.
Yeah.
Weren't we talking about last time you had the one with the dog sounds? Like that one
Yo.
keyboard? Were we talking about that?
That might be. Did I post that keyboard on Instagram or something?
I don't know. I forget. I forget
might have.
things. I mix things up a lot, but
Yeah.
it-
It's
do
like a
you
little
remember-
baby toy.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the one like the first sampler? I remember having it when I was a kid, and it's just like a keyboard, but like you could like sample stuff, which I didn't really.
SK1? Are you talking about the Casio SK1?
Yeah, the Casio. I didn't know how
Shout
to
out
do
to
that.
shout out to my homie Cropsy, who has the best Casio collection I know.
Yeah.
And he's got all kinds of like toy pianos and little
Dude, what?
noisemaker things, and he records them all, and he makes incredible lo-fi hip hop
Nice.
beats
It's awesome.
on that with them, and he's fresh. So.
I was a little ass kid, so I would just play the dog barking notes. But
Make a DMX song.
yeah.
No, I think we had a music class that you had to do, and we had to do like piano stuff. But if you hit like one button on the end of the keyboard, it turned into like all the keys turned into the drums.
Word.
So you'd be sitting there in class, not paying attention to class, just like making the grinding beat in music. class.
The grinding beat was the classroom
Yeah.
banger.
I was like, I'm about to make this grinding beat.
Honestly,
40
I was
minutes.
tight. My music classes in school, I never had any like music production or like. I know the school I went to, the like grade under me, did some songwriting stuff, but it was the year under me and I was new, so I
Yeah.
didn't get to do that year. But I like thought back to it the other day, and the room that we used to all hang out in my middle school and my high school was the MIDI lab, and it was dead just a 4-computer room with a bunch of MIDI keyboards and GarageBand and Pro Tools.
That's dope.
And I just didn't know shit about it at the time and didn't even know what that meant. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm about to go skip class and sit around in there. But I didn't even know it was really like a production room
Right.
at all. And I was thinking about it the other day. I was just like, damn, dude, what?
Sitting on a gold mine. Didn't even know.
Seriously.
That's the way it goes sometimes. I feel like, I didn't take a bunch of music classes, or I didn't really take any music classes in high school. In middle school and elementary school, I played just like the snare drum. That was it. But after that, like I quit the violin and I quit the guitar. And the only one, I wish I had stuck with the guitar, because every time I'm making a song, I'm like, I wish I had a guitar.
Especially
right now.
some funk shit.
My mom,
especially for the funk shit.
my mom taught piano lessons.
Yeah.
So obviously, my great chagrin is that I never like took her up on that. I would be a whole different person if I like
I did. I mean,
was playing piano.
my dad was my dad is like a piano like. I know we were talking about it last time, but I tried to get lessons from him, and like it just didn't work. And then I took lessons from like this Russian like foreign exchange student when like she was like in college. I was still in like high school, and she helped for like I did that for like 6 months, and so it helped a little bit, but I just didn't practice. That's the thing. You got to practice so you learn shit.
do.
And I just was like, I want to play, but I don't. You know what I mean? It didn't connect with me enough, I guess.
I think
For me to-
my thing right now is like every time I sit down to like actually practice piano, you end up like finding a chord. You're like, oh, this is dope. I'm about to make a song now.
Yeah.
So I think I need to get a piano that's not attached to my laptop. I think that's the thing right now.
Have you ever tried melodics?
I have melodics. I
Did
don't
you
use
ever
it
do the
as
key. Like
I've never tried the key. I've tried
is
the
that?
the
drum.
keys one. The keys one is dope.
What is that?
I like it.
I did it once. You never heard of melodics?
No.
It's like it's for like
finger drumming
and
training online.
Word. Oh.
And they
Like on your
they
keyboard?
grade you. You hook up your MIDI device.
Oh, no shit.
And it reads it, and it has you like play patterns on your device,
Dude, what?
and then it scores you on the accuracy, and it's like a whole thing.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah, it's cool.
I think right now I've been going down the I think most of us have. I think all of us have a push. So
Yeah.
I've been doing a
You
lot
got
more
push?
stuff
Yeah,
on
I have
the
a
push.
push.
And
man.
who is Jonathan Stein from Team Supreme? He has a
Mhm.
really dope Patreon thing you can pay for, and he does just push tutorials.
He's a savage on the push.
Yeah,
like,
he's
he
a
really
beast.
fucks it up.
So if you want to like learn how to do like all those crazy like jazz chords and stuff on the push and like the way he does it, that's a cool one to check out.
That's dope.
Yeah.
We are dropping gems on the Hidden Gems podcast
There you
today.
go.
Yeah.
Heard it
Jonathan
here
Stein
first.
tutorials. Shout out Team Supreme.
If this is your first time listening
Shout
to
out
us,
Team Supreme.
big shout to Team Supreme. The Hidden Gems podcast. We are the podcast that goes with a party that happens in Philadelphia. It's happening tonight here at Warehouse on Watts, where we're recording this podcast from the lovely Watts studio.
Yes, sir.
We have a party the first Wednesday of every month, although today is the second Thursday because
The listeners don't know. They don't
because
know.
January. But it's the first Wednesday of every month. It's an open aux party for producers and musicians where you can bring your creation, sign up for a time slot, and share your project with everyone there. And
Plug in the aux and play some beats. You know.
there it is.
Invite all your friends. If you see the comment section from this month, I invited probably 30 people. Probably
I did
half
see
of
that.
them maybe will come. That's what's up.
Yo, I was thoroughly impressed. You know,
You
Just-
need
just with-
Krispy on the street team. With
Oh well, no, I'm just yeah, sure, definitely. But, your post game is crazy, bro. But like, nah, I was thoroughly impressed just like from the first one. You know, I didn't even know what to expect, and I was just like, oh shit, there are some hidden gems. Like, there's some producers out here that got work. So it's dope to see. Like, you know, it's definitely dope to hear everybody like come out and just like share a little something that they might be working on, or like drop something that they just dropped, anything like that. You know.
Yeah.
And what I really enjoy is that we heard from some house producers. We heard from some, drum and bass type producers, some EDM guys. We heard
Dubstep.
from dubstep. We heard lo-fi hip hop beats. We heard, sample based hip hop. We heard some trap. We heard people who play instruments, people that sing,
Some future bass.
some future bass.
Yep.
We like it's all over the board. So if you are interested in hearing new music from some crazy, talented, undiscovered producers, you definitely got to come check it out. Anybody can come. Anybody can sign up. If you're a bedroom producer and you've been working on some beats and you kind of want to see what happens in a room when you drop your beat, see if people move. It's a very cool test. If you've never played at an open mic,
If you made something on GarageBand on your iPad, like, and you think it's dope, you actually like, and you want to come plug in and play that, like, you can do that. But we're gonna let you know if it's whack. You're gonna tell. But
we haven't booed anyone yet.
yeah,
But
there was a few moments of silence, like just like good
There's
work.
moments of digestion. You know?
Yeah.
People are just digesting.
But it's not. Nothing was like, oh, this is whack. It's just like this isn't really my style. But it's cool. You know.
I mean, I think that's part of just the environment at this thing you guys have set up too. Is that no one's really out here to be like, this is whack. Like people are really trying to give constructive criticism and feedback to people. Like, because people are coming here and playing stuff looking for that.
Right.
9 times out of 10, like there may be one person not really looking for that, but for the most part, people are.
Yeah. I think people come in with that mindset too. It's
Yeah.
not, I feel like everyone that's been here is like super welcoming.
Yeah.
Like I think last month, there was a dude here that had only been producing for like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And he literally played like his first beat.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know?
That's what's up.
Like I would have never showed up to a spot and played my first beat. Like it would have been hot garbage. And it was all right.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's the beauty of the in-person open mic design, because on the internet it's easy to just post something and delete it later or whatever, but in person you actually have to work up the courage to find out who's taking the sign-ups and sign up. And then you have to stand up in front of everyone and play your thing. It takes a little bit of courage. Right. And we think that, you know, most of the people that get through to that point really believe they have something. You know?
Yeah. Well, and also online, it's easier to be a dick to people because there isn't really as much repercussion as if you're just openly being like that in front of a room full of people. Right. You know?
Yeah. And plus, like, you're listening to it on your phone, most likely, or like, you know, maybe you got your laptop set like plugged in to with your studio and you're listening to it, but it's like you're most likely just not really, you know, you're skimming through some shit, especially since you never heard, and it's like, oh, a producer just posted something, I'll check it out. But like, you know, tonight we're gonna play this shit on a Function One sound system, and
dude,
fucking
I'm so
hell
hyped. I'm so hyped, dog.
Hell yeah.
And what we've seen in past weeks is, you know, almost the entire room like sort of like huddling around the person that's playing, and it's not really like people are paying a lot of attention, which in this day and age is like you were saying, like people are used to skimming through music. It's really rare to get someone, even your buddy, to pay attention to your song for 3 whole minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see the listening environment.
Yeah.
Word up. So Jabair dropped a new track.
I did.
This past week.
I did. Had to get my Spotify joint going. A new joint called Shine with my homie Derek, aka De La Bucks, who I think is actually coming through tonight. So he's gonna come through tonight.
Sick.
Play some joints.
That's just dope, man.
Yeah, he's got a crazy range too. Like he can rap a little bit, he sings, obviously, but he's doing like kind of
Your bass is funky as hell on there.
Thank you.
Really, really
Thank
nice
you.
on that.
And, you know, once you get the bass line in, I feel like the rest of the song writes itself.
Yeah.
Do you do that first?
Famous
Do you do
words
that
of
early?
Jabair.
Or you play the chords and then like go in with the bass.
I'm a chords person first because I'll put some chords down and then I'll kind of just zone out for a while and come up with something funky that makes sense. You know, same thing for like when you do like lead solos and stuff like that. And that's a lot, to me, that's like where a lot of the fun is. Like I love doing drum programming, but like to be able to just like have some chords down and then just kind of like, you know, freak it. I feel like that's where kind of like all the electricity is, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely, man. I feel like I got to revisit a method because like, I mean, I don't know if I have to, but it's not a bad idea because I start songs on so many different ways, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's never the same. And people ask me a lot, you know, like, what do you do first? And like, I never have an answer. I'm like, sometimes, you know?
I'm the same way. I start with an idea. It's not necessarily always the same type of idea. Sometimes it's drums, sometimes it's a melody, sometimes it's...
I mean, if you find a fucking golden sample, like that's the best. You know what I mean? And it's like just something hasn't been heard that's just like, that just bleeds, like just reaches out to you. You're just like, fuck yeah. Like that's my favorite thing, like to be able to get inspired. And not even something like, just when you hear parts of things or just like the way something's recorded. Like last night, I was up till 4 a.m. just going through these records that my boy just gave me. And I was just like, you know, recording them, playing them. And I'm just like, yo, the way they've recorded these horns, like you can try and replicate it now and you can do a pretty good job, but it's like hearing this old ass dusty record that was recorded in the 50s with like this horn section with the way it was compressed and like the room that they were in and everything. It just has a sound to it, and it's like, you know, sometimes that is all you need, just to like, you know, chopping up a sample and hearing the rhythm of it that you just created. And like now I got it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, for me, I have like 2 ways of working, kind of. It'll either be chords and a lead and the bass, and then I'll kind of figure everything else out, or I'll just find a really great sample and start chopping it up, and then everything kind of revolves around that. Like most of the time, if it's a sample free track, though, I'll do chords, lead, 808, or a bass, and then the drums just revolve around how I did the bass and certain parts of how I have the chords hit, if I like voice them and have them hit in weird spots.
See, I think for me, like, I think I starting out with chords a lot more just because music theory was the thing I learned second. Like, I didn't know a lot of theory, so I felt like that was, like, if I get a good idea down, like, melodically, then the rest of the song, to me, I feel like it's just going to be...
The light work.
Yeah, it's just going to be light work, and it's going to be a lot more fun, because I'm like, all right, the thinking's already done, so... You know, let's go in. And
you can sing along to it a little bit already. So
right.
Yeah.
You know what's a funny question? Like, I know like anybody that you tell, like you get these questions a lot, especially like doing it for a while. When you're like, oh yeah, well I'm a music producer. Especially like when people are like asking you what you do and like that's actually what I did. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like I'm a music. Like they understand DJ. You know what I mean? They understand like
that's what I say. I say DJ.
Yeah, but so like
that's a shorter conversation.
Right? They're like, "Oh, all right, cool, that's it."
But but for me, like the main thing that I've done for the longest is be a producer, like music producer. So it's like, what do you do? So and then like you have the parents or like, you know, like your girl's parents or like your parents' friends, like they're asking you, you know what I mean? Like, what does that mean? So what do you do? And it's like it's fun explaining it, but it's just like I'm interested on how you guys explain it. Like what is it? What's a music producer do?
I think I'm like Dan, where if I need to keep a conversation short, I'll just say DJ.
Yeah.
Because I have been DJing for longer than I've been producing. But like when people ask me, I'm trying to think of the last thing I said.
I don't say producer next either. I say like I write music.
Okay.
See, that's a good way to look at it.
Because then they can picture me at a at a synthesizer, like with a, you know, writing music, and that is pretty much closer to what I do than like what they might picture as if I say music producer, they might picture like Rick Rubin or like someone in a suit at a studio,
which is a great example though. Like Rick Rubin's a great example.
See, I feel like
he's known for taking things out. Yeah. And that's like and that can be explained. Like he might not even like made all the like I know like when Kanye was talking about Yeezus, he was saying like that Rick Rubin came in and was just like the beats were already made. Kanye produced them and shit, but like he came in and was just like, yo, take this out, take this out, take this out.
Executive producer level.
Yeah, like make this more minimal and get the best parts and let's get rid of some shit. And it's simple and it's dope. And he produced it. You know what I mean? He's one of the producers on, you know, whatever. So that's like, I think it's because a producer has so many different categories of what you actually do. So what I say a lot of times, like it depends on, I mean, I don't like giving people short answers to it because like it depends if I'm trying to have a conversation with this person. But I like in the most basic sense and like what you can branch off from on anything, like a producer makes a song happen. So like, you know, you could be a beat maker, you could be taking things out of the song, or you can literally be like recording a band and be like, the guitar solo should happen here and we're gonna do this. And you just keep doing what you're doing, and you produce the track.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you can do every single thing that you hear and play it and be a multi-instrumentalist, like all this shit. So, like, you know.
You can make 1,000 beats, but the moment that you play them out, you're not a beat maker, you're a DJ. How about that?
Unless you're doing a live production set and you're finger drumming.
There's so many variables. See, I think... For me, usually what happens a lot is you say producer, and then they're not thinking Rick Rubin though. They're thinking like, you know, Martin Garrett or like EDM. I get a lot of that. If you say producer DJ or DJ producer,
Yeah.
on
They're thinking City DJs.
they're thinking like, because that's all they know. And I
And you
think,
throw cakes.
yeah,
You throw cakes
and
in
I'm
the
like,
audience.
Not really. I mean, there's a whole
Cupcakes.
culture beyond that you know, just regular people don't understand. So yeah, if I'm trying to keep it short, I'll just say DJ,
Yeah.
producer. Like if we're actually having a conversation, like I'm a producer, and I'll usually tell people like, this is what I do. You know, there's some other things you can do too.
Yeah.
You know, like you could be like a sound designer. You can like work on video games, things like that.
Yeah.
So there's definitely like a ton of levels to it. Or you could be like one of those dudes, like, you know, in LA, there's mad dudes that just cake up off of doing commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. So
I think even if you're having a conversation with someone and you told them you were a sound designer, they'd be like, "What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you design sounds? Like, what are they, furniture or
You
some shit?"
You
But-
already have to be there,
Yeah.
like in a certain depth of understanding to understand what, like, oh, you're sound, you do sound design.
Yeah,
like.
but I think it depends on who you talk to a lot of the time as far as what a producer is to people. Because one day my mom was talking to me and she was like, "So you produce, like, what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I make music. What do you mean?" And she was just like, "Oh, when I think of a music producer, you know, I think of when I was younger and it would just be some guy that's paying to make records or like paying to have records done and is just like funding it." And,
that's
you know,
that's on the more of the movie sense.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, well, nah, like that's not really a thing anymore. But also, like people,
Like a film producer, you're
Yeah.
putting money into it, and you're putting like suggesting locations,
Well,
yeah.
and shit like that.
In film, the producer is involved in the actual like spending the money for the production.
And allocating the money too, right?
Executive producer is the one that raises or provides the money. A lot of
Yeah.
times that's just the money person, the executive
Yeah.
producer.
Yeah.
but even people that are more my age that I talk to, a lot of the time, if I say that I'm a producer, you know, their first thing that they're thinking isn't necessarily Martin Garrix or Avicii or Tiesto or anything. They're thinking more like Metro Boomin or, you know, because I think now,
dope, right?
I think because
Yeah.
now in terms of like contemporary music, like it's really a kind of time for producers to do their thing. And a lot of producers have been, you know, putting out their own projects that have features on them from people who are doing well independently, but producers are more like hip hop producers are more so putting out solo projects with features on it versus the
That's
other
an
way
interesting
around.
point. We've come to a time where the song
People care about the producers.
The song title is DJ Mustard featuring an artist.
Yeah, well, Metro Boomin just dropped an album.
Instead
so
of
that's a good
yeah,
example.
yeah.
Swizz Beatz just dropped an album.
Yep.
Yeah.
And who else? Alchemist just dropped an album.
Yep.
yeah.
Static Select drops albums all the time.
Yeah. So it's like it's definitely a producer's age, and even more so like everywhere. Like it's a curator's age. Like people care more about. People are interested in like, oh, this was directed by this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was directed
Yeah.
by like. So you go to see it because of that. Like and it's more turning into that, and I think that's dope. You know what I mean? I of course I do, but like I think it's dope to, you know, for what I was always paying attention to, like, you know, once I really started getting into it, like who produced this, to like
Right.
now see like, you know, that's.
Do you guys use producer tags in your beats?
Man, I want to.
You want to?
Yeah, I want to just to, you know, just to give a little something. I have one right now, but it's like, it's not, you know, I want something easy that I could put on everything. But this girl, like my boy, like Ren Thomas, who I produce, you know, super dope MC, rapper, personality, Ren Thomas. So he went, because I was his DJ for a while, and like, you know, and still do shows with him and produce. You know, we just dropped the whole Sensi Star album, which was like me, a producer album that I dropped. You know what I mean? So I produced every beat on that, has the whole Sensi squad on there. But so Ren had this, had our one friend Jade, she's on there, and she's like, "It's Expo, slut." So like, I've used it on
I've
a couple
definitely
things.
heard that
Yeah.
one too.
I've used it a few times just because it's hilarious. Like it makes me laugh every time I hear it, but it's not like, you know, I feel like there's definitely a time to put a producer drop on a beat, and there's times not to, and there's definitely less times to put "It's Expo, slut" on a beat. You know what I mean? Like,
Keep it PG. Yeah.
It's hilarious, but it's just like it's Britney, bitch. Like it's like that kind of thing.
What about y'all? Do any of you use producer tag?
I had one a while ago, and I don't think I used. I lost a sample, and then it was over for the producer tag. It was when I was doing more club stuff.
Yeah.
So I would use. I feel like if you're making like club music, Jersey club music, like you 100% need a tag.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it's not saying your name, but just like something in there.
Yeah, I don't really use tags on like anything that I make. I've like thought about it, but I got kind of like put off to it just because I started to be, I think, more concerned with having just a general sound that I can be attributed with over a specific tag.
Definitely.
Because, I think also...
Twice.
Yeah, I think also because I DJ as well. Like, I usually tell people I'm a DJ if they ask.
Yeah, word.
But, I mean, DJing for me is really just an excuse to play stuff that I'm working on or new stuff that my friends sent me or a combo of both and new stuff I dug up on the internet. So I don't really like putting tags on my stuff because of that. Because when I'm
you hate
DJing,
when other people have them on there.
yeah, and because when I'm DJing sets, like I don't want to drop 5 tracks of mine that all have my tag on them.
Yeah,
because it's just like in the middle of the set, you hear it again. I'm like, damn, all right.
Yeah, I mean,
You hear it once or twice and it's cool. You
Yeah.
hear it 3 or 4 times and
Yeah.
it starts to become annoying.
Because then I have to play 5 tracks spread out over the whole set instead of back to back. Because then you're gonna hear my tag 5 times in a row if I don't hotkey all of my shit to skip my tag. You know,
Or you bounce your own VIP without the drop in it.
yeah,
tagless joint.
exactly.
Yeah, like there's out of all the records that I have out, because I mean I work, mostly with rappers, so it's just like the stuff that it's fun to have it on there, and like, but I haven't put it on any records, and I would really, besides for one, there's one record that's out that I have it on. The rest of it, like I only like when I'm on stage with like Ren or Screw, whatever, you know what I mean? When I'm on stage rocking, and I just pretty much like drop it a couple times, like just to, like in between songs or something, and do a little routine real quick and drop it just so that we could all laugh. You know what I mean? Like just so, like we're on stage, like it's funny. But I feel like a producer tag is dope if it's done right and it's catchy and it's like it adds to the music, not just like some annoying shit.
Yeah, and I feel like I get it with a lot of the Atlanta producers that do that. You have London on the track, you have Metro Boomin, you have all the 808 Mafia people, and I get it with them because there's so many people at this point just copying the shit out of their sound because that's what's popular.
True.
So
Yeah,
I feel that because, you can listen to 10 beats on the radio, and if people aren't specifying who made it, probably just think that it's all the same person.
Yeah.
But it kind of depends. The same with like that Travis Scott track, Sicko Mode. Like there's multiple beat tags on that track because there's multiple beats. But
it's lit.
if it wasn't on there, then I guess you would think that the same person produced all of them unless you actually look into it at all,
It is helpful sometimes to not have to look it up because you hear it.
Yeah, I mean the best thing ever is to not have it and to just make some classic original shit, like so like, oh, this is a fucking premiere beat. He's never used it ever and never will. And this is a premiere beat. This is a Dilla beat. You know what I mean? Like this is like, and you just knowing like this is that sound that you've become accustomed to.
Not many of the greats ever used one because they were all trying to make beats that didn't sound like anyone else instead of trying to make sort of like the ultimate version of the same style that everyone else is making.
They weren't trying to make YouTube beats because they didn't have YouTube.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
But
let's make a me type beat, Hidden Gems.
Dude,
come on,
Hidden Gems type beat. But even like Mike Dean doesn't have any on his, and like Mike Dean is a little bit different, but I can tell most of the time with him just because he has like a soundscape that he sticks to. Like he has sounds that are pretty specific to how he makes his stuff.
Moog sounds.
Yeah.
I feel like anytime I hear
exactly.
Anytime
like,
you hear
a
trap beat that's like super musical, I immediately like Mike Dean. Like I know there's other dudes that could do it, but
also
like,
if it's the loudest beat you've ever heard,
right? It's loud as shit, and it has like that Mike Dean like Reese sub.
Yeah,
that's in everything, every Travis Scott song.
Also, honestly, I feel like Zaytoven really doesn't even need tags on his beats.
Yeah,
we're talking about trap producers. Like if I hear anything with ridiculous keys that I don't got many people playing, I'm like, all right, he probably made this.
Right.
Or if there's Gucci Mane on it. Like,
there's also a middle ground. And it's like of my like probably most of our like one of our top favorite producers and it's Timbo. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have a producer tag. He did it more like how rappers like how Jada does the. I'm not even gonna do it, but you know what I mean? Like there you go. So like. It's just like that, but you know, it's like freaky. Like you're gonna hear that, and you're gonna hear. He might say Timbaland, but it's just like you know.
So let me drop one on you. The Pharrell beat tag of the one
Pharrell's
bar count in.
Yeah,
that is the coolest. That's the coolest way to know it's a Pharrell beat without any words being spoken across different genres and styles that he creates.
I was actually gonna say that. That's I think one of the most unique ones, just because it's like, oh, if they do that, they're either him or they're just hitting a crazy copy, which like no one would probably.
You mean just having
do.
like a quick doom doom.
Yeah,
doom,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's in,
yeah.
Absolutely.
That's funny. I've never actually thought of that.
Yeah, I actually saw a video come up one time on my Facebook feed, and it was like a 30-song video mashup of Pharrell intros, and I was like, "Word,
that's tight." I'm trying to listen to that.
It's sick, dude. It's so sick. And then there was even tracks in there that I like hadn't peeped that he produced until I saw that video. Like I didn't know he did All Right from Kendrick until then. I know he did Sweet Life from Frank Ocean till then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new Neptune stuff I think people forget about.
Yeah.
You know, I think it might be just because Neptune's is so classic and Pharrell in general. You know, it's timeless at this point.
There's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
For a casual listener.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like whenever it's funny now because I'll meet kids that are producers and they don't necessarily know the Neptunes. And like at first it kind of makes me like for like a split second I'm a little bit upset with them, and then I think you just have to remember like how young some of these kids actually are, and it's all right if their introduction to like making beats isn't the Neptunes or isn't Dilla.
True.
You know, it might be
like I'm not gonna be. Go ahead. I'm not gonna. Be
I'm just saying you can't be mad at them for not knowing. You know, I think it's part of your job if you're older to like take them like I tell them like go listen to Neptunes, go listen to Donuts.
People didn't do that for us a lot. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but just like you know, just that's dope to do that as a producer. But in becoming a producer, you've done the research on the songs that you've looked up because like that's like especially as a DJ too, like you're like you know who produced it, you know, like even like the less known names, like you know that shit.
Right.
And so like and like my homie Ren says it in the song. He's just like how you rhyme but don't know who G-Rap is, never broke down an onion but talked that G-Pack shit. Like what, like you're, you know, like we did the research though.
Yeah.
And so I respect people that do that, like, you know, like that, like, yeah, this might be popping right now and that's what's up. Like I fuck with all of that shit. Like I fuck with so much new shit. You know what I mean? Like constantly.
True, me too.
And it's like, but like I fucked with new shit when I was, you know, coming up and when I was like a teenager, first started producing, and like when people brought me older things that were like, yo, like, you know, people played me some shit, I just dug deeper and it was just like, yo, like okay, like I didn't know who G-Rap was like when I first started listening to hip hop. You know what I mean? Like that was way before my time, but I definitely went back and listened to all this shit.
But I think it depends because I think over time as you produce, you start to not only like understand more of what's going on in the stuff you're listening to, but you get more hungry to dig back, you know?
Totally.
Because when I first started producing, you know, there were still a lot of really ridiculous producers whose stuff I'd listen to, and I just didn't know enough about producing yet to actually pick apart what was going on. But now when I listen to like 9 out of 10 things, I'll be able to kind of break down what I'm listening to and think of it in terms of how you would put it together in a project file or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it also depends on like the time that people are coming up in when they're listening to music and producing, because I know a lot of people that are popping and producing and are like SoundCloud producers now are people that are 16 to 18 on SoundCloud and shit like that. So, you know, when I was coming up, a lot of the rap stuff I was listening to off Jump was like OG shit to me, like Wu-Tang and stuff like that. And then it kind of graduated into some of the more backpack rap kind of shit because those were people my age that were doing it and were rapping on older beats. We're rapping on like MF Doom shit and Madlib shit.
Yeah.
And
Wonder shit.
yeah, exactly. And so over time I started to just peep what people were making and then go back and listen to some of their older shit too. But I think a lot of people now don't exactly have the same reference because they're listening to stuff that's on the radio that's mostly Atlanta trap shit, you know?
Right.
Did you know, like I remember, because I started producing like so young, like, you know, I was 12 when I started, and then like, you know, I had the studio, like I started learning a little bit about it, and I would have my pops there, so he would be able to play, and he would play, but like I remember it wasn't until I was producing for a long time until I started realizing like, oh, some of my favorite tracks are sampled, like this is a sample, you know what I mean? Like I thought all that shit, you know, I didn't realize it was sampled until years after I was producing stuff, and years after I was like a fan of so much music. Like I'm just like,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't know. You don't know what it is. You just hear these crazy, you know, violin lines and like all this cool shit like with a beat, and you're just like, yo, like I'm playing these drums and I'm gonna like play some stuff on some MIDI stuff and try to make it sound like that. Why can't I? You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, it takes time. I feel like, you know, if you're thinking, like, it's one thing to go back and dig, but if you're thinking of like a producer now who, you know, kind of, you know, has access to everything like super fast, you know, I could see how that might be detrimental to like going back and figuring some stuff out. At the same time, like you could figure something out on the spot, you know? So it's like, you know, if I'm telling you to like go listen to the Neptunes or go listen to, you know, Dilla, like, cool, bring up your Spotify, here's a Neptunes playlist.
And then
like,
go
boom.
dump it in the car on the way home.
Right.
And there you go. Like,
you know, and usually people come back like, oh man, that's tight. Like I never knew that. I only knew Skrillex, you know? So I like seeing that flashbulb go off in people where it's like, oh, there's like this whole, there's so many different levels and avenues you can do with this.
If you want the gems, you got to dig for them.
You do got to dig for them.
that's
I
fast.
still dig. I think all of us still dig.
Yeah.
I think when those are, you know, outside of producing, you know, I think I wanted to start producing because you spend a lot of time like digging through stuff like, oh shit, like what is EPMD, right? And then, you know, you're going down that whole rabbit hole, right? Or like, you know, I my first tape I ever bought, Timbaland and Magoo, on tape. I think I was like 8 years old. So
I think what the thing about like producers and DJs, like what got us into it and why it lasted, besides for like making a couple of things that, you know, of course we all made some things that was like, this is corny, but like, you know, at first starting off, but like what got us into it and what kept us in it is taste. And I think like Ira Glass said that, like there's like a quote from Ira Glass, is just talking about like you got into this because you have great taste, and like you have taste, you know what you like about this music or about the way this writer writes, whatever it is, any kind of artistic thing. It's just like you got into it because you have good taste, and like eventually because you like you're passionate, you're in like, you know, love with what you do, like, or like to be able to create something, you start, you know, you like it's there's a period in time for your taste to finally, for your skills to finally catch up with your taste, and once you get there, then it's like, you know, and anybody that's great, like, I think it's dope that it's so easily accessible. Like music to download or play or stream is easy for people to find, just as easy it is for a kid to download, you know, Fruity Loops and like be like, I know the kick should go here, I know the bass sounds good here, the snare goes there, and we'll figure the rest out. You know what I mean? But like, I think that's dope. But they're not ever gonna. It only progresses because of taste and because of like, you know, being persistent and you really having a passion about it. But like the taste is first.
And I think your taste kind of gets more refined over time. The more you do it, you know, the more you produce and the more you listen to stuff, you kind of get a better sense of what you're looking for in stuff you're listening to and stuff you're making. And if you're chopping stuff,
your own,
and if you're chopping stuff,
versus
taste
copying,
for that,
versus copying from, you know, whoever, you know, taking an idea and innovating on it versus just learning how to do a style and then
regurgitating.
Just putting different new sounds on it and making the same type shit.
Do you think your taste, your skills have caught up to your taste? How's that to all you guys?
No, for me.
Right, and that's all right.
I could say, like I could say that I can, and really like when I'm not, it's either I'm in, like all of us, like we're either always in creative, like, you're either on a creative fucking spree or like just like writer's block, just like anything else. But like, I can remember a time when I was just like, yeah, like if I hear something, I can create it. I can do that now. And like, so yeah, I feel that way, but I'm constantly growing and want to be the best. So like, I'm still digging and still trying to understand how Quincy Jones, recorded a record. You know what I mean? Like, so,
Me
like,
too.
and work it and just and the best thing is like just pushing yourself. You're still gonna make the simplest thing, and it's just like, yo, this is crazy. A lot of people fuck with it, and like I fuck with this heavy, and then you're gonna be like, yo, I just brought in, pushing yourself to be like, I'm gonna record like a horn section live and a violin section live, and like having the ability and the power and the like that you can do that is insane, and so but it doesn't say that it's going to be better than the other thing, but it's just like pushing yourself to to get there.
But that's exactly why I say no, because in a world where Quincy Jones exists and I love his records, it's hard to say that my production is on par with my taste. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I guess it's a
well. I mean,
semantics.
I think that goes back to digging though too.
Is it possible?
Now,
go ahead.
All right. Well, I was saying, I think that goes back to digging because now we're like, how old are Quincy Jones records, right? And you have all this technology and stuff, but you're still saying like, Quincy Jones,
it's his
taste, is shit, right?
It's his taste that made those records the way they are, yeah.
Right.
But do you want to make those kind of records? And if you can, like, you're not going to be a composer like Quincy Jones, maybe. Like, I don't have that aspiration. Like, I mean, I do, but like, I'm not going to write the notes out and be able to. I'm going to have to work with somebody to be like, yo, I need these pieces like this, and I'm going to explain it very basic in my like terms of like, this is a microphone, this is a studio, and I'm going to make sure we record the best way possible. And this is the written music a little bit. Can you add on to this? Like, that's the kind of artist I'm going to work with. But it's like, I don't expect myself to be a Quincy Jones level composer in that sense. Like, because we're not even in that, like, it's different to be a producer now. Yeah. We can create that in multiple ways. And it's like, can you create that? Yeah. I mean, you have access to a studio and you can like, put that arrangement together.
I compose in my own way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I hope in my own way to apply my taste in a similar manner to the way Quincy did, although make my own decisions. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I hope that the records I make, like, have my version of my own choices. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And, will I ever? Do I ascribe to? Do I aspire to be like to have accolades of a Quincy Jones? Like, no, I'm not trying to do those types of things.
Well, I do, but the ability and the way that you get there has changed, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The vehicle's different.
Yeah.
I strongly admire Expo's work ethic. This is a hardworking dude.
Yeah.
He runs.
Thank you, man.
He runs Watts Studio that we're recording the podcast in with some partners, and he makes incredible records.
Thank you, bro. Much appreciated.
Yeah, very talented dude, and it's cool to see confidence in like in your abilities because you are the man.
Oh shit! Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, and I also like you said that on the verge of me being like thinking in my head like shit, like I need to apologize because you guys sat me in a room and wanted me to nerd out on some producer shit, and I'm like talking. You know what I mean? Like I could do this. Like what time is it?
It's the conversation that matters. Sure. Like that's one of the reasons we're doing this podcast. We wanted to just talk about ideas that we always talk about when we get together. Right. Things like digging, things like producing records, things like working with songwriters or writing songs, things like DJing, music technology, anything we're interested in. At some point, we're gonna take questions from you guys.
We're figuring this
management hasn't come up with an email address yet, but we're also going to do a Spotify playlist with some of our hidden gems,
featured artists or
I love it.
Regulars.
The regulars.
Yeah,
we have like a solid group of just like regular folk that are here.
Yeah,
it's like the corner bar for producers.
Yes, we're definitely going to have to get something popping to like that you can just go to and hear like what's going on with Hidden Gems, the people that are coming out and signing up, the people that are on the show.
I think that just like we started the event and just like we started this podcast, this is number 2. Like I guess we're just gonna figure it out as we go along, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see who shows up today. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
After the last one,
we had 20 producers sign up.
Yeah,
and play
it was
beats
husky.
last week, and we went 2 whole rounds.
We went 3 rounds.
Did we
I
go
think.
3 rounds?
Yeah.
They made it mostly through the first.
Honestly, we
I think we stayed up a
maybe
little
even
longer,
made
too.
4. Like
That's pretty damn cool. And we've moved here to Warehouse on Watts, which is a really cool, really vibey venue. Normally, it's downstairs, and that's a really cool room. I like the intimacy of it. Even though it's a big room, we kind of set it up so, so it feels good. But tonight we're on the big boy system, and that's going to be fun for its own reasons. We're going to be.
The big boy system's going to be downstairs too. That's actually
Ooh.
why. I don't know
Yeah, but that's what I fuck with about what you guys are doing here is because it seems like it's less so the case as, everyone that you've done have brought more people out. And more people are like, holy shit, you should come out to this and see what's good.
And it's cool that we're not discriminated in genres, and like not even like when I say we, I mean like everyone here.
Yeah.
And that's the same idea, like that. Why I fuck with when you guys started Hidden Gems, and invited me on, and I was there the second time, like it's on, you know what I mean, like, and it's growing, and like that's why I fuck with that, and I fuck with like what we're doing with Loop Philly too, like just really like we don't, any
What's up with
genre,
Loop Philly?
It's we're just getting it off the ground, but really it's like I just want it to be everybody's. Like any like things that are in the scene, it's definitely curated. It's definitely people that know what's going on, and like
At Loop Philly on Instagram is what we're talking about. It's just a place you can. I'm sorry to hop in. It's a place you can just go and check out, stay in the loop on some really cool events that are going on in Philly. It's curated. You should check it out
Cool.
if you want to stay up on
events and new releases, new videos,
and
new
music,
content, and pretty much anything Music Evolve that's content or upcoming events. Like that's where you're gonna find it. That it's things that are worth checking out. So just a little
Sick.
micro blog.
It's
a little thing for the scene.
yeah.
Which is it? I mean, I think that's kind of what we were talking about is like Philadelphia scene in general, music scene, and how that because Philadelphia is at a weird spot right now. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
It's growing at an exponential rate and it's a huge city, but it's actually becoming like a global city. But at the same time, a lot of the Philadelphia music scene has been, kind of, under the radar, if you will, for a major city,
Yes.
And it's kind of like, you hear about people in Philly and you hear, Meek, Uzi,
Tierra Whack.
Now it's Tierra Whack and
Fuck
Bree
yeah,
Steves,
Tierra Whack.
right?
Hell yeah.
But like we've
Shout out Dizzle
known Tierra Whack
Hell
and Bree Steves are dope
Yeah.
for a while, So I think it was interesting, moving away, being in Los Angeles that has a huge beat scene, and then coming back to Philly, which has a ton of producers and a ton of great artists and a lot of talent, running through the
like
city.
low key known for it too.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
honestly,
what-
But nobody, but like I feel like we don't put each other on enough, and
Right.
and that's what I feel like we're doing now.
Well, because
So,
it's I feel like it's kind of weird in terms of being a creative in Philly, because to me it seems kind of like a closed door city. You know what I mean? Like, I get the sense with a lot of artists that start to get successful that they'll start to just leave the city, and like there isn't really anyone trying to help other artists out, or people just think that other people are reaching out to them for help just because they're in a position to help them, so they don't really fuck with that. And
A lot of people feel like they have to leave Philadelphia to get bigger opportunities.
Yeah.
And it would be very interesting to have one of our friends from LA out that have left Philly
yeah.
to see just have a conversation about
Yeah.
whether or not that's the path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be interesting.
I mean, there's still dudes. There's like OG dudes that still make their home in Philly, and I think that's speaking to a different era. In some
Jabair,
respect.
didn't you go to LA for a little bit?
Yeah, that's what I said. I was in LA.
Dude, honestly, not gonna hold. LA is fucking sick. LA is so sick.
I
I went to LA for like 3 weeks and it changed my life. Like,
I'm one of those people that enjoyed LA. Like I like Los Angeles. Like I like the sun and all that. And I had a good experience. I know people, especially like Philadelphia homies that like moved to LA, came back.
They're
and
like,
just,
I fucking
trashed
hated
Los
it
Angeles. And like me, I'm the opposite. I'm like, I love Philly. I love LA. You know, I think in every city, it's always going to be what you make of it. You know?
Sure.
So either you kind of figure out where you fit in, or you know, you're like, you know, fuck it. I tried it. I hate it. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that might be deeper than just the city. That might be, you know, that all depends on somebody's situation. You know,
and depending, it starts to just be more personal. Like it's if they're a actively trying to go out person or not, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and that's a bit, and anytime you're in a new city, you have to go out and you know, meet people. And, you know, even in LA where people are supposed to be fake, like you meet, you know, really cool people that, you know, I talk to every day.
In theory, it's difficult because it's supposed to be difficult. It's where you hone your skills.
Right.
It's where you learn, you know, all the small lessons that it takes to like make great music, and
it's definitely a city
and be
to
a
cut
great
your teeth.
performer. Yeah. That's why I love Philly. That's why I grew up other places, and that's why I like choose to be here. Even despite this fucking awful weather that we have,
Sometimes
because it's a cool,
a lot of times.
it's
like
a cool
right
place. It's a great place to see. Like
if you like the rain, it's a cool spot.
it's a great place to see if what you have is like really good.
Yeah,
you know?
dude, when I was in LA, I forgot that it rained because I came back and the first day I was back, it rained. It didn't rain the whole time that I was there, and I like didn't even think about it.
I mean, I lived there for 2 years, and I
lived there for 2 years?
I rained like 5 times.
Dude, my one friend lives there right now.
Too happy.
My one friend that lives there was telling me that it rained one day, and it was like the sky was falling. Like people couldn't drive, people didn't know what to do.
It's like the South when it snows, and people are just like, "What the fuck?"
Like in Texas, they got like 2 inches of snow, and everyone started having accidents and shit.
It's flurries, and they're going out to get like
bread
and milk,
eggs.
That's it. Yeah. All right, real quick, because I know we gotta start this event soon. But there's 2 things. Jabair, have your skills reached your taste?
My skills reached my taste.
Because you asked the question.
I did ask the question. I never answered.
I'm dying to hear this.
So I'm gonna say no, kind of along the lines of, you know, because I look at it the perspective of the way Dan looks at it. I think about it this way, you know, I think technically, you know, I can technically, and like I'd be comfortable getting in a room with anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I'll agree to that. But I think as you get older and you refine your taste, then, you know, things start to change for me, you know, sonically, where I'm like, you know, I feel like when you first learn to be a producer, you know, you're learning how to produce, like you're always trying to be like, oh, this has to be super clean. Like this needs to be like that. You know, this needs to go right here. That's where it's supposed to go. Yeah. And then I think as you grow as an artist and you start to get outside that set of rules, then you really start to find like, you know, the hidden gems. And I think that's kind of like where I see myself. You know? So it's like, you know, you have this set of rules, you learn to get outside that box and kind of finesse those rules. And I think that's, you know, a constant battle. Like you're always going to be trying to, you know, reinvent yourself, for me.
Yeah. I think also with learning how to do stuff, it's important to learn how to do things like how they're intended to be done first, because then you can go back and do things however you want. And then it's more of an active choice that you're making to do those things that you're doing instead of just by accident. You know, it's like, well, I know that this is what's supposed to happen, but I'm not trying to do that. So I did this instead.
Yeah. And so that was part 2. Like I wanted to hear your answer to that. And also, you know, our guest on the show tonight is Krispy. And, I want to hear a little bit, you know, you just put out a beat, you know, you put out a track, what, yesterday or today?
Like 10 of my tracks hit Spotify today. One of my tracks hit yesterday. Distribution's weird. Should give yourself some buffer time if you're trying to put stuff up. Fun fact.
What's a good place for people to find out more about you and find your music
on the net,
on the internet?
So I'm on all platforms now as Krispy. If you look up Krispy and the word drifting or like rare silk or anything like that, all of my tracks will come up. I'm getting some separation done right now by all the platforms because they lumped me in with another person that put stuff out as Krispy. So I'm clearing that up.
Name wars.
Yeah, you know, but also my SoundCloud link is SoundCloud/Krispy Got Sounds. I put that there. I got some emojis in my name and stuff.
Got some heat on there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Krispy.
Thanks, man.
I think we should drop one. We're definitely going to play it.
Word.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Word. And as far as my taste and my skills, does my taste match my skills? I'm going to go with hard no on that. Mostly because like I just listen to so much shit. Like I listen to a giant spectrum of stuff, and there's so many people I listen to that could just play all of my instrumentation into the dirt as of now. So I'm trying to learn, you know, more. Like I've been playing guitar for a long ass time, but
Damn, you guys.
What's up?
You guys are so humble. I got to change my answer.
No.
Well, I think that
No,
goes both
no,
sides.
Don't change
It's
it.
honest.
Don't change it.
No, be
I
hon-
like
stay
it.
honest,
It's good to
like-
have.
Yeah.
It's good to have diversity.
I
Yeah.
think
It's
like
good to have
it's
different
important like
attitudes,
that
you know?
we're all like it's definitely known like we're all growing. Like it's always the point to grow and to be better. You know.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that, if you're not building on that, then you're not having fun. You know.
What I love is the example of Michael Jordan, who is like obviously one of the greatest basketball players of all
GOAT.
time. And even at, you know, when he got to the later parts of his career, he still like pushed himself to try to improve areas of his game where he wasn't seen as the best.
Yeah.
Because like even for the best, you still have to find ways that you're not the best to like push yourself to be even better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like I surround myself with Stevie Wonder records and all the greatest music ever made. And I hope and I think like that's what I would love to make records like these in my own style.
Yeah.
But I always need to have I always like to have things to look up to.
For
Yeah.
sure. And yeah,
And reasons to dig.
Absolutely.
like I play guitar. I've been playing guitar for a grip. I played drums for a little bit. I've been teaching myself keys since I started producing, but I'd like really not known shit about keys until then. And I'm trying to just get better at all the instruments that I do know. And then I've been trying to mess around with brass and woodwind instruments a little bit, just because I think if you can hold it down on those, that's like a nice benefit to your production to be able to like write out parts and play them. And for me, I don't really even write parts out most of the time. I kind of just play what I can hear in my head and then see how it fits. But yeah, like I don't think that my taste matches my skill in a lot of ways yet, because there's just a lot of stuff that I want to be able to do better, just based on like what I listen to and what I look for and stuff.
Word. Well, the shit that you just dropped, like props on that. Everything you played here, like I'm glad that you are actually like our first guest. This the second episode.
Yeah,
So-
thanks for having me.
You were at all the hidden gems so far, right?
I missed the first
you
one
missed the first one.
because it was pouring out,
It was a
and
shitty night.
I take the train to the city from my house, so it was like a mile walk to the train. I was like, it's pouring, I can't do that. But yeah, I was at the second one. I was at the last one.
The second
Both
one
were
it was
fantastic.
snowing, so I'm calling
Yeah,
I'm calling your bluff right
Well,
there.
so that one it was snowing. That one it was snowing, but I was in the city already. So I was like,
Yeah.
all right. I was like, I gotta go to this one because I missed the first one, and I'm not trying to miss this. My man Mac with the Q put me on to it, so I was like, all right, I gotta link with Mac on this one.
we probably got to have Mac on here sometime.
yeah, I
Yeah,
guess-
Mac's dope, yo. Shout out Mac.
We do got to wrap this up. I want you guys to come out to one of the parties if you can. If you're in the Philly area, you got to hear Krispy's beats, especially on the Function One.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
Hear the
So
slaps.
fucking hype, dude.
Jabair, check out his new single on Spotify.
Sure.
Expo's got a video coming out. Follow or take a look at that. And I'm Love City. I got some new shit going. I got a song that just came out on Nightwork Records.
Let's go.
It's a remix for Big
All
Dipper.
right.
It's out now on Spotify and everything.
Shout out Night Work.
Yeah,
Shout out Big
pretty
Dipper.
stoked with how that came out. And also Jabair, Expo, and I are DJing at the Dolphin 131, January 31st.
Oh.
Buddies.
I don't think
Let's
we're
go.
going.
No,
I don't
we're
think
not
we're calling
going
it buddies.
that.
I think I'm changing that.
A party name to be determined.
Yeah, TBD on the name of it.
Pull up to the
But-
buddies party.
It's not a Hidden Gems party. It's just the three of us playing records we're into type of thing.
Sick.
Drinking Tecate.
But it's going to be a
Yup.
good time. Pull up. You're definitely going to hear some shit from three dudes that care a lot about music and dig pretty deep for like our favorite shit. And when we get a chance to get together and play records, we're going to play some really dope shit that you're not going to hear from any other group of DJs in the city.
Also,
we got our
happy
own
hour
flavor.
from 9 to 10 o'clock.
Dollar
They do a
Tecates.
late happy hour, dollar Tecates, dollar well drinks.
Maybe we'll start at 9. So,
Dude, might
yeah.
as well.
All right.
Turn up.
Anyway, so we're wrapping up. See you guys on episode 3. You never know who our guest is going to be, but we're thankful for Krispy for coming out this time.
Thanks for having
I'm Love
me,
City
guys.
for Jabair and Expo Hidden Gems podcast episode 2. We're out.
Yerp.
Yep.